السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. ألم نشرح لك صدرك ووضعنا عنك وزرك الذي أنقض ظهرك ورفعنا لك ذكرك فإن مع العسر يسرا إن مع العسر يسرا فإذا فرغت فانصب وإلى ربك فارغب. صدق الله مولانا العظيم. Alhamdulillah, all praise is due to Allah. I would like to speak in English, for it will relate to many people who might not be able to understand the Arabic language, rather the Libyan slang. A few days ago, just last week, I was in Dallas, Texas. There was an event for the Muslim Legal Fund of America. And the keynote speaker was Ralph Nader. You know, the one who ran for the presidency. He's Lebanese, of course, originally. He said something that should be in the mind of all the Libyan community. If the Middle East in general had no oil, all the cases that you see now will be more like South Africa, neglected and ignored. And that is a true fact. And this is something you need to keep in mind, something that Sheikh Ahmed mentioned, that they were between two choices. They had to take the less harmful. But there is a lot of people looking at the cake of Libya, if you want to say. And they have their own interests, and you can't blame them. But it rides upon the shoulders of the Libyans themselves to look forward of what's that they want to. Let me take you to an article that was written by Steve Emerson just a few days ago also. Steve Emerson is one of the Islamophobes who makes his fortune and his business based on attacking Islam and Muslims and the Muslim movement, if you want to say, in the US. He was complaining about a meeting that happened between the FBI Director Mueller in DC and between some of the Muslim community leaders in the US. And he was talking about how would that affect that the Muslims are infiltrating, as he claims, the US system. And that should send an alarm because they will create a lobby that will affect the foreign policy for people back home. And if there is one thing we would like to say, we need the Libyan community to make sure that they have their stake in this country. You, and I'm talking to you here, those who are living in the States, you have a big task on your shoulder to really be the connection between Libya overseas and between the US here. You can bring a lot of benefit and you can prevent a lot of harm if you know how to invest your efforts, unite yourself, and be really this ability to connect in a way that feeds into the interest on both sides. This is something that you need to take upon yourself and make sure that you are working it through the system, as they say, in a righteous way, in a way that reflects what we believe is a value and good for the states and for Libya in this particular case. Three things I would like to leave you with. Number one, you need to build coalitions. I heard Sheikh Ahmed speaking about establishing an organization, which is very good. There is nothing wrong with having a community of Libyans coming together to preserve their culture, strengthen their faith and their deen, and invest in their identity as Americans who happens to be Libyans. So you need to build coalitions with people around you, Muslims and non-Muslims. And yes, it might start on a social, family-based organization, But at the end, you have to have a vision to really see how can you utilize your efforts, your abilities, and bring benefits to your country here as the US and to Libya as your home. The second thing, make sure that you strengthen your family. Few suggestions of what Sheikh Ahmed has mentioned. Days like that the Libyan culture will be introduced. Send your youth back overseas. Let them go and listen and see and study. It is important for people to understand what others are going through, especially their own people. It is very important that, yes, we try our best to bring to our children the best life. We don't want them to be disconnected from their heritage and from their culture. Let them go and see how people sacrificed. Let them go and see how people live up till now, probably in very poor conditions, so they can appreciate and be grateful to whatever they are having here. And the last thing, it's about your mission in life to serve Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. To serve Allah under tyrants, during the uprising, and after you are liberated. The whole mission of a Muslim on earth is وَمَا خَلَقْتُ الْجِنَّ وَالْإِنسَ إِلَّا لِيَعْبُدُونَ. You have to be in the status of ibadah. Sometimes, if you're under aggression, you feel more closer to Allah. But when people get into power, they might tend to lose track or be off track. Keep the fear of Allah in your heart. And know that this life is fitna. That the money could be fitna. That the power could be fitna. You owe yourself, your community, everyone, to make sure to preserve and hold on this, inshallah ta'ala, fruit of liberation. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless you. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept from you. And inshallah we would like to come next year to hear establishments of this gathering, what they have done through this year. Let no year pass without objectives and missions and ideas. What is that you want to do? And see yourself 1 year from now. Jazakumullah khair. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.